Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Buying Space channel. I have a package here from Jim, Jim and Julie. I don't know that they go by anything but their real names on YouTube at YouTube auctions, and they sell with a variety of resellers. I usually catch them at Lisa's New Adventures, but sometimes they're at Johnny's. And I think they are resellers that will show up about anywhere. And they're former SCA, and they have a lot of nice stuff that's, well, they have classy stuff, and they have geeky stuff, gaming stuff. So I really like to order from them more, to be quite honest. It's hard to know when to catch them, though. That's the only thing. But I look for them. All right. The thing about SCA people, that stands for Society of Creative Anachronisms. They usually are cultured people that know about history, educated. And, oh, Jim, he has this sense of humor that just really gets me. I love his jokes. And he could be just talking and say stuff that's funny. I mean, he is this naturally humorous person, even when he's not trying. So here we go. This is very heavy. I'm going to turn this sideways so you all can get the full effect, the full Monty. Anyway, this was tuckered in on both sides, or tucked in, not tuckered in. Okay, saying that I'm tired. Okay, I'll pull this out. And when I pull this out, there's nothing left in this Amazon box. It's a recycled Amazon box, which is wonderful. What is in this cocoon of packing paper? It's something heavy, for sure. Oh, wow. This is, was not expecting this in that package. Oh, I'm so happy. This is, I used to work for AT&T a long time ago. I worked for the AT&T Universal Card Center, which was their credit card and calling card combined. For those of you out there that remember what a calling card is, but we used to have telephones that were not connected to the what am I saying? They weren't connected to, they weren't plugged in to electrical outlets. They were plugged in just to the phone line that was hardwired into your home. Okay, cool. And so if the electricity went out, it didn't affect your phone service at all. And the same is true if you still have an old-fashioned landline. The two of you out there that might be listening that still do, we still do. We still have the landline. Now, we do not use the landline to make or receive calls. We just kind of have it to facilitate our internet, which is also run on the landline, believe it or not. And it's not dial-up. We do have high-speed internet on a Wi-Fi box on the landline. So that's why we still have it. I do sometimes use it for outbound calls. I do sometimes, um, very rarely, maybe 3, 4 times a month, do I use the landline. Other than that, I use the cell phone. So anyway, this telephone predates the slimline AT&T phones, which were still not plugged into the wall for electricity. See, there's a small electrical current in telephone lines that powered the slimline phones. Now this predates the slimline phone, and the slimline phone. Oh my gosh, there's a phone number on here. Had the light up buttons on it, but it still wasn't plugged in like a telephone you would see with the portable mobile device, well, headset that you didn't have a cord and you could walk around the room or, walk around your property and still talk on the phone. But this baby has a phone cord. See, when I was a teenage girl, this is what we had. And my grandmother, she lived up in Greenview. And at Greenview, they had what was called a party line. And my grandmother had a phone like this. Now, she had a phone like this up into the 1990s. And this was in many of a office building. This is what they had before they had the big button phones. And so did I thought I heard a little bit of static there. Before they had the big button phones at the offices, when I was at AT&T, they had a headset like this on a telephone that had like 40 buttons on it. But it was connected to a Sun Microsoft computer. And actually, the telephone headset, they were on the phones, but they were to the side, and you never picked them up because you had a headset running out from it. And it was connected to Sun Microsoft computer with, you could open 50 windows on it, and there was no human being on the floor or probably on the planet that could keep up with the speed of that computer. And this was in, definitely 1990, the entire year. I worked on a computer system like that. And when the telephone would ring, the whole account would pop up. And I'm sure that's how it works now, too, with most companies. But in 1990, the public did not know about caller ID. Caller ID was invented by Bell Laboratories, which was a division of AT&T. And people did not know about caller ID. It was ISDN was the original acronym. AT&T had acronyms within acronyms within acronyms. Anyway, we went on a family vacation when Marty was a toddler. Or not toddler. No, this was later. That was a different story. In this visit to Grandma Fauci was deaf, so she had a big red button on her telephone that would light up when she got a telephone call. And the volume on it was just horrendously, But anyway, you pick this up. And this has an area code on it. But back when Marty was a child, you would just dial these 7 numbers. But the thing is, you dial the 9, you have to wait until it goes back around. So this is 992 5 5 7 8. And Marty was used to the phone the house phone on the landline when they were small, having buttons, and you just, and you were done. But this, you had to wait for it to go back around. And if you wanted assistance, you could actually dial 0 and you would get a live operator on the line to help you. But when Marty was trying to call this telephone number, I said, Marty, why don't you call somebody? And I was calling probably an aunt or uncle or a cousin. But anyway, when Marty picked up the phone and did this and had to wait for it to go back around, they actually screamed because of the patience it took for this to go back around before you dial the next number. But anyway, I got one of these from Jim and Julie, and I'm so happy I opened this today. I thought it was in another package, so I got another package from Jim and Julie. Actually, I got 2 more, and I'm going to have Jim and Julie week. But this is wonderful, and you walk around. This would be at a desk. You could maybe walk around your desk with this. I don't know why you would do that if you had a traditional office. And we had one on a wall in our kitchen that had like a 20-foot cord, and it barely reached to my room. I would have to stand, if I wanted a private conversation, I had to stretch that cord as far as it would go, close my bedroom door, and stand behind my bedroom door to have a private conversation, because it was everybody in the household's phone. And if I was on the phone, my parents couldn't use the phone. If my parent, but we had a private line. We didn't have a party line like Grandma Fauci. Oh my gosh, all these people at Greenview, when you make a phone call from Grandma's house, they'd all be listening. And you could hear little clicks. Of course, it didn't sound like that. That's just mechanical. But I'm actually going to connect this to my landline. And if my electricity goes out, I'll still have telephone service. Of course, I still have telephone service on my cell phone until it goes dead. But if my battery on my cell phone goes dead, I'll have this, even with electricity off. And also, another thing is, if you have an emergency, and for some reason, this isn't even working, okay? Which would be a rarity. I'm hoping this is a working model. Let me see. Here's the volume control on it. It's a big, clanky, gear-like thing. Property of Mountain States Telephone Company. Not for sale. Well, it's been sold and it's been resold. And here's where you put the telephone line. And there's no place here for the electrical cord because it's not run like that. But anyway, all those people at Greenview would listen to your business. Mom, I need you to come get me. Grandma's got something to do at the church. And they'd all be listening. If there was a traumatic moment in my life and I had to call my mother from my grandmother's, everybody at Greenview knew what was going on with me. They knew what was going on with me even on a good day. I would go out on the porch and spit, and they would know. Even if I wasn't on the phone, it was just a small, close-knit community, and where everybody was just, but all these communities across the United States, not just at Greenview, were like that, where they had party lines. But it was back in the day when people had more integrity, and usually if somebody would interfere with me because I was, they knew stuff that they shouldn't have known because they were eavesdropping on the party line, majority of the time it was good intent. And it was to be protective of me. It was still annoying that I had no privacy. But back then, I'll give you an example. It's a pretty violent example. But back then, if a gentleman cheated on his wife, usually his wife was related to half the community. And he was related to the other half of the community. And all the men in the community, or if he, was committed domestic violence, or cheated on his wife, all the men in the community get together and go beat him up because they didn't tolerate behavior like that. So the lack of privacy, in a way, was a good thing because it takes a village. I never got interfered with, but I did have things that I wanted to keep private told. But other than that, I can see now that it was beneficial that everybody besides my grandmother and my step grandfather knew what was going on with me. That was a good thing back then. Now, if you do that now, people always don't have the best intentions now. So that could be a very bad thing for a child nowadays. But back then, it was good. And but anyway, I'm going to have fun with this. You all have a wonderful and blessed day. And if you can catch Jim and Julie on a sale, they have the neatest stuff. Oh, and I did want to say there were 2 of these available. And Susie Lou, who worked on Blue Bloods and had a small bit parts in Blue Bloods here and there over the history of the series, also bought one of these. And she alluded that she might be giving it to somebody from Blue Bloods. I don't know who, but she was going to gift it to someone from that show. So, but, that just adds another dimension of, oh, how neat, to this item. So anyway, as I was saying, you all have a wonderful and blessed day.